Have you ever wanted to massively transform a relationship in your life? Maybe right now you are thinking the situation is hopeless and that there's nothing that you can do to change things. Well, you are wrong, my friend. There is always room for you to take action and to improve something in your life. And it is no different than when it comes to your relationships. So today I'm going to share with you a tool on how to rewrite your story to improve your relationships. So if you want to find out more on how to do that, then be sure to keep watching. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jen. I am a spiritual life and business coach, and you have found my YouTube channel. This is where I bring you 2 new videos every week, all about the art of combining manifestation and mindset together so that you can go out there and manifest your best life ever. I love to share practical psychology tips along with spiritual and consciousness expansion tips so that you can use both in order to create what you want in life. I also do that through my digital products and my ebooks and my coaching packages. If you want to learn more about how to work with me as a coach, either in a one-off coaching spot where we talk about something that you are working on in your life right now, or with me as a spiritual business coach to help you build your business from the ground up, then I'll leave more info in the description box below so that you can come and find out more. So today we are going to talk about the art of improving relationships through changing your story. And how does that work, you might be asking? It might sound a little bit strange at first, I know, but honestly, we are conscious creators. I'm always teaching you on this channel about how you can show up and take massive action for your life and therefore transform it into your dream life just by thinking better thoughts and by taking more responsibility for what you are putting out into the universe. So it is no different than when it comes to our relationships. And of course, it is really hard to create an amazing life for yourself if you don't have quality relationships. I know that we can all relate to this, and I know that these are some of our biggest blocks in life. When there is something wrong with your romantic relationship, with a friendship, with a family relationship, it can be really hard for you to concentrate your energy on anything else, especially if it's really out of the norm for you. So this is one tool that you can use that is not about confronting people, it's not about manipulating people, it is not about changing people. It is about changing the story from your inside out, and this can really leave you feeling way more empowered and can in turn transform your whole relationship. I really want you to know this before we begin, that every single relationship that you have in your life can be completely transformed by you alone. You do not need to set everybody down and have a talk with them. You do not need to control them. You do not need to give them an ultimatum. You can shift the energy and the dynamic between 2 people when just you decide to show up differently. So that's a super empowering thing to realize, because I think when it comes to relationships, most of us are taught that we need to go and make somebody say something or do something in order for us to feel better. So one of the things that I teach as part of the emotional intelligence side of what I do is that we always have the choice to create a new thought. We always have the option to have a new belief, and that is absolutely no different than when it comes to your relationships. So I'm going to say that at the beginning, but of course I'm going to put a caveat in there. Of course, if you are in a situation that is abusive, of course, if somebody is, calling you names, bringing you down, actually being physically abusive with you, then this probably isn't the video for you to watch. This is probably a sign for you to actually remove yourself from that situation if you can. So of course, if it goes into that territory, that is not how this stuff comes into play. But if you're just experiencing regular ups and downs of a normal relationship, this video should be very useful to you. Okay, so the only thing that I want you to know from watching this video today is that we all have a story, and that we are all writing a story at all moments of the day. So we like to think that we are incredibly logical creatures and that our emotions are based on things that have happened in cold, hard reality. And I know that's what it feels like to you right now. And I know that that is what it feels like to me as well. I'm not saying that I have all of this figured out and that this never happens to me. Of course, this still happens to me, even though I know the theory behind it now. But what is really happening to us when we get upset about something is that something has happened in the outside world and that we have created a story about it. And it's that story that we've written that is giving us the hard feelings, okay? So for example, when it comes to personal relationships, so say you texted your best friend last week and she didn't text you back and you are fuming about it and you are so upset and you're thinking, this person doesn't like me, this person doesn't want to hang out with me anymore, this person has replaced me, whatever the story is, you have to understand that that is a story. So the cold hard fact of the situation is that you texted this person with an expectation that they were going to text you back and they didn't text you back. And now you're making an assumption about that situation and you are making it mean something that feels really terrible to you. And then that is probably causing you to not text them anymore and to in turn exacerbate the situation because you're acting like this person has wronged you. However, what we all fail to see when this happens to us is that we are filling in the blanks with something that we do not even know is true. So maybe this person's phone wasn't working, or maybe, something happened to them, or maybe they just forgot. Sometimes if people text me in the middle of the night and I look at my phone for some reason in the middle of the night and then I go back to sleep, I completely forget about the text. This has happened to me multiple times and it's kind of annoying because I live in Europe and my family is on the west coast of North America. So there's a 9-hour difference and sometimes this does happen. But that isn't about me willfully trying to forget about people. That's actually about me, seeing something when I'm half asleep and then completely forgetting about it. And this could be the situation that's happening with your friend, for example, right? We can all think of situations where we have felt so wronged about something and we felt like, oh, this person doesn't respect me, they don't like me, they don't have time for me, they don't do this, they don't do that, they must not love me anymore. That's, what happens in a romantic relationship, but these things are all just generated from us, right? And the funny thing is, if we turn the tables around and we look for a time in our life when we did the exact same thing that we are upset about, we can probably think of many times that we've accidentally done the same thing. We've accidentally forgotten to text somebody back. We accidentally, stayed late at work and forgot to tell our partner. We accidentally were running late down the street and we saw our friend and we didn't have time to stop and say hello. Whatever the thing is, we have done these things ourselves, and it's really funny how we forget to give anybody the benefit of the doubt and we rush into filling everything in with the wrong story, with a dark story, with a heavy story. We forget to forgive people like we want to be forgiven. Anytime that we accidentally do something to somebody, we really hope that they are going to give us the benefit of the doubt. But when it comes down to it, many times we don't do that for other people. Many times we want the benefit of the doubt for us, but we do not extend that automatically to other people, especially the people that we are closest to. It seems like the closer you get to somebody, like you can always see this in a romantic relationship, the more you expect from them. And then when they show up as the human that they inevitably are, we get so disappointed and we make it mean something about us or the relationship that isn't necessarily true. So once you know this, once you understand that there is a difference between the cold hard facts and the story that you're telling yourself, that gives you an opportunity. That gives you the opportunity to take action and to rewrite the story in a way that feels better, in a way that gives you more ease and more joy and more flow and gives you control back over your life. It is just important to understand that our brain is a tiny little drama queen sometimes, and it is going to blow things out of proportion. And I know that when your brain is in the middle of blowing things out of proportion, it is hard to keep track. It is hard to understand how insane the story can be. But it's really important for you to try to do this even when you're really upset, even when you're really angry. If you can come back to this looking at reality and looking at where you are at, and you can see the difference between the two, you can also leave room to open the door to another possibility of interpretation. So a little game that I like to play is this the only way to see things? And the answer is always no. So the way that you know the answer is always no is if the situation that happened with you was viewed by 3 different people or 10 different people, would all of those people have the same realization that you have? And if the answer is no, then you know that there's another possibility out there. And the answer will be no, because you are making assumptions on things that have happened in the past and on, this time 5 years ago when this person said this one thing to you. Your story is always based on something else that other people can't see and other people aren't aware of. Therefore, you will always have a different story than everybody else. So there's no point in blaming yourself when you realize this is happening. There is no point in saying, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid, I'm a terrible human for thinking this way. There's no point in thinking any of that stuff. This is all just stuff for you to understand so that you understand not to immediately believe in the story your brain has first come up with. So the second part of this whole thing is now realizing that we get to choose the story. We get to write the story. We get to believe in something else. So I want you to go back to this incident that you're thinking about, or this moment with this person, and I want you to think about what would make me feel better. What could I believe right now that wouldn't feel so dark and heavy? What could I believe right now that would not leave me so angry or resentful or bitter or whatever it is that you're experiencing? What could I believe in that wouldn't make me feel so sad and abandoned and lonely? These are questions you get to ask yourself, and these can help to inform what story you ultimately want to believe in. So usually the story that we write gets written so fast that we don't even realize that it's happening. But it is still us writing it. It is still us filling in the blanks. It is still our brain hard at work. So, this might feel a little bit strange at first for you to go back in time and to rethink about what you want to believe to be true. But remember that you are a conscious creator and you get to choose the story. You get to write the story. And I highly suggest writing stories that don't make you feel terrible, that don't make you feel lonely, that don't make you feel second best, that don't make you feel angry. Why would we want to believe in those things when there is another option? And of course, when you can believe in a different story, that actually creates more room for you to have amazing relationships with people. And it becomes more about you taking responsibility for your side of the equation and your emotional health rather than running around trying to make everyone else do what you want them to do. If you have ever been around somebody who is controlling or manipulating, you know that that's really what they're trying to do. They are trying to make the world feel safe for themselves. But if you've ever been controlled or manipulated, you know how terrible that feels. So what I'm giving you here is the option to feel better. It is what your brain actually just wants in the end. Your brain just wants to feel better. And this option of you rewriting the story is so much better for everybody because it doesn't have that icky, controlling, manipulative quality. We don't want to do that because if we have to go control everybody in the world, sooner or later, we are not going to be able to control something. Something is going to get away from us. We're not going to be able to control everything, and that will leave us back at feeling terrible again. If you can learn how to control your own story, and if you can learn how to write your own narrative, especially when it comes to your relationships, you will always have control. You will have control whether you're dealing with a boss that doesn't seem to like you. You are going to have control when dealing with your spouse. You are going to have control when dealing with your friends, with your children, with whoever it is. You are going to have control. So that is the power of learning how to write a story and to write a story that makes you feel good. Remember, we are not changing the facts of the situation. The facts of the situation stay the same. Other people remain responsible for themselves. But this is about you showing up and taking responsibility for yourself, and especially for the way you want to feel and the person that you want to be and for the life that you ultimately want to have. We have the power to create so much better relationships, and it isn't about making people do something. It isn't about getting people to apologize. It isn't about running around and trying to change the world. Again, that is so exhausting, you guys. This one is all about just showing up for ourselves and deciding what we want and who we want to be in every single moment. And honestly, it is the better choice. It seems crazy. It seems weird at first, I know. But please go out there and try it and see how this transforms your relationships, from your small relationships to your big relationships. It will do amazing things for every level of your life. Okay, so that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching today. If you got something out of this, I'd love it if you leave me a like and go ahead and drop in the comment box below. Conscious creators, I'd love to see who of you watched until the very end here. If you want to learn more about me, please come on over to the site. I have a free money manifestation challenge for you to take over there. If you come on over and sign up for updates, I'll hook you up with that right away. If you want to watch more from me, go ahead and click my latest upload right here. And other than that, I'll be back here in the next one. So until then, have an amazing week of manifestation and transformation. And as always, just remember, get ready for the miracle. See you guys.